I've compiled a list of some of the top crypto influencers to understand their take as to what is happening with the current bull market. Are we even still in a bull market? What is going to happen to Bitcoin? As well as, are we ever going to see the altcoin season? So if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. We've got all that info for you guys. And as you're down there, make sure you smash the like button and let's see what these top crypto influencers are thinking is next for the markets. First and foremost, what is going on with Bitcoin? Over the last 24 hours, we have more selling pressure despite the US government coming back. It's likely because we are missing a ton of economic data. There's a lot of uncertainty in the markets. Traders, analysts, the Fed have no idea what's happened over the last 43 days because the US government was shut down and now it's all a huge catch up. Now, what we see for the price of Bitcoin, 98,800 at the time of me recording this. It's not looking great if you look at these weekly candles. The last 3 weekly candles have been down candles ever since we reached a new all-time high of 126 at the beginning of October, which realistically speaking is only a month ago. It seems like a full year at this point, but it's been just a whirlwind of downside pressure. Right now, we still have 3-4 days before this weekly candle close, but we have to come back above that 50-week moving average, which has basically held support ever since Bitcoin broke out of the bear market back in 2022. Now, if we go over to a day chart, you do see that we have this, death cross happening. The video we made yesterday talks about this. Historically speaking, over the last 2 death crosses, it has basically marked relatively soon after the bottom of the market, and Bitcoin has been able to make new all-time highs after that. Again, we're going to have to wait and see if a third time's a charm. But what we want to know right now is, are we still in a bull market? Is Bitcoin going to make a new high? And what's going to happen to altcoins? And are we ever going to get that altcoin season? So I want you guys to let me know in the comment section below, what are your thoughts on these questions and what do you believe at this current time? I'm very interested in seeing, what people are thinking, because if you look online, it's pure chaos everywhere. We have, first and foremost, the fear and greed index is at 22. We're basically back to April lows. We all remember April, it was disgusting, but soon after, Bitcoin did make a new all-time high. Obviously, April is not Q4, so we had a whole lot more time in terms of, that 4-year cycle that everybody doesn't want to talk about. Then if you look at Google interest, there's absolutely no interest on the word crypto. It's, back down to some of the levels that we've seen in the bear market. So again, people, your friends, your family, they don't care about crypto at this very point. But let's see what some of the top crypto influencers are saying, because of course, at the end of the day, nobody really knows what's going to happen. People can make arguments for both sides. We made a video a few days ago talking about what you should be doing right now, and that is to plan for both sides, regardless of your opinion. If you are bullish, which I remain bullish until proven otherwise, I am going to have those invalidation criteria so that if the market turns, I'm not going to be, holding my bag until I have lost 90%. That was the mistake I made in 2021. You best believe I'm not going to do that in this cycle. On the other hand, if you are bearish and you're just shorting the entire market right now and the market reverses, you should probably have invalidation targets on the way up, as you would have invalidation targets on the way down. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at some of the top crypto influencers to answer this plain and simple question: is the bull market over? It is a very difficult question to answer. Some, influencers are very white and black. Some are kind of in the fence, and some have criteria to understand, what makes it bullish, what makes it bearish. So if we take a look at some of the people that believe the bull market is absolutely over, they've been short since, a very long time. I probably don't have everyone here because obviously obviously we could have a bunch of people on this list, and this is not to bash any specific influencer or channel or content they put out. I do think that, everybody is entitled to their own opinion. I'm just putting down a list of different opinions I've seen online. So first and foremost, people who believe that the bull market is over, we have James Wynn. This is a personality on Twitter. If you're not on crypto Twitter, you probably have no idea who this person is. There is a lot of back and forth on him. He's, lost a lot of money. He's made a lot of money. Who really knows what kind of money he actually has? But he's been very vocal on crypto Twitter saying that, he's been short since 126,000. Whether or not that's true, I'm going to leave it up to your interpretation. But it's pretty evident that he is, short on the market right now and has been for some time. The other person we have here is a YouTuber with about 100,000 subscribers that has been short on Ethereum, claiming that he's made some decent money on Ethereum being short on it. It's Taiki. Have a look at his channel. Again, he has about 100,000 subscribers, and he has been very vocal that he's been, shorting Ethereum and believes that Ethereum is going to continue going lower. So those are kind of the two people that out of a whole lot of different influencers were very adamant that they were shorting the market and that they believed that the market was going to go lower. And, to answer that question of is the bull market over, that would fit that criteria. Now, if we take a look at the maybe category, this is, the influencers that are looking at data, looking at different metrics within the markets to make more of a rational decision as data becomes available. And I do think that when you see this person, it's going to make absolute sense because he's been the most objective person, in my opinion, for this market, has been right so many times throughout this market. Well, we are talking about none other than Ben Cohen. So Ben Cohen, he has over 1 million subscribers or almost 1 million subscribers on YouTube, over 1 million on Twitter. And he's been very analytical, very objective, looking at Bitcoin, looking at the Bitcoin 4-year cycle, looking at different possibilities to confirm whether or not we'd be in a bull market or to confirm whether or not a bear market is approaching. He's also looking at that 50-week moving average for Bitcoin's chart. He's been talking about altcoins throughout this entire last 2 years, essentially saying that they continue to bleed against Bitcoin. That's that total 3 chart minus USDT divided by Bitcoin to really see your altcoin Bitcoin pairs. And he's been absolutely right that throughout this entire time, we've continued to see altcoins bleed against Bitcoin. And to show you the chart I'm talking about, we are looking at this one here, which shows your altcoins to Bitcoin ratio. And ever since, the top of 2021, it's only been down here. And now he does offer some, explanations as to what happened in 2021 during the end of quantitative tightening. It was also the bottoming of alts versus Bitcoin. Quantitative tightening is ending December 1st, which is about 3 weeks away. So again, he has a lot more, explanations as to what could happen. Not saying that one or the other is going to happen, but understanding that there are two paths right now and that he's letting the market decide where things go. So that is why I believe that, Ben is saying that maybe the bull market's over, maybe it's not over, but waiting for the data to really confirm. And again, he has said that if there are 2 weekly candle closes below the 50-week moving average on Bitcoin, he would likely be out until we really see a bear market and we come back into later 2026 or 2027, whenever that really is. Another thing that Ben has mentioned is the 4-year cycle. Every other cycle has seen a top for Bitcoin in Q4. Just at the beginning of October, we saw Bitcoin hit 126,000, and it's now been a full month that it's been down. But of course, there's been a lot of factors that could also explain why it's going down. One of them being the US government shut down. So if we move on to the next category, so some of the influencers that believe that the market is going to go up, but they are still on the fence. They are looking at some data and they are looking at, what is happening. Here we have a few different people I wanted to mention. So we have Tyler Hill from YouTube. We have NoBS Crypto, which is Kyron from YouTube. You have Miles, you have Lab of Crypto, and you have Elio Trade. So all of these guys are essentially looking at the markets and, they remain bullish until proven otherwise, but they also understand that there is potential for a bear market to happen in the next few weeks, months, and, that is not a possibility that they're ruling out. Again, many of them are looking at similar analysis that Ben is looking at. So they're kind of on the fence. They want to lead more bullish. I'm also in that category. I do think by default, I want to lean more bullish because there are many things happening. But at the same time, I realize that, there is that other possible scenario that could happen. And again, with the mistakes I made in 2021, I don't want to be making those same mistakes in this cycle. And of course, as you get more and more data from the US government now being back online or, not shut down anymore, you're starting to see that the rate cut odds in December are almost 50-50, when just a few days ago it was about a 70-30% chance. Is because there's a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt because we don't have the data. We might not get the data before the Fed meets in December, and that is adding stress and fear to the markets. Another reason why, if that data does come out and it shows that the Fed is going to cut, well, that could be a bullish turn for crypto, for stocks, and for liquidity in general. We do know that liquidity conditions are going to be better soon enough, but whether or not crypto follows a 4-year cycle or follows liquidity is still yet to be seen. Now, last but not least, if we take a look at some of the ones that absolutely still believe a bull market is happening, we have Virtual Bacon. This is, a great channel that I follow. I highly recommend following all of these guys, by the way. Virtual Bacon, you have Jesse Eichel, who does say that the 4-year cycle is done. He's looking a lot more into liquidity conditions. You have Kyle Chaussee also believes that, we're going to see a new high on Bitcoin. We have House of Crypto as well as Alex Becker. I still remember when Alex Becker was posting about crypto altcoins, a few months ago, saying that they were going to go up and up and up. And they haven't been up, up, and up. So if you look at, the different mini narratives that we've had throughout this time in this cycle, we have had a lot of opportunities for altcoins. Don't get me wrong. I've been posting about altcoins for a very long time myself, but these little rallies that we've had. So back in November of 2024, this was your AI agent, huge, massive hype. There's a ton of money to be made there. Don't get me wrong. That was a mini altcoin season of its own. And then we had the Ethereum, new all-time high from the summer months all the way through September, which brought many altcoins back to life. But in the grand scheme of things, it's only been down since 2021. So again, with Becker posting so many videos, he's probably made a crap ton of money on some of these smaller altcoins. But you have to realize that with these current liquidity conditions and current market conditions, those small altcoins are going to get wrecked if the market continues to get wrecked. If Bitcoin falls below or continues falling, those altcoins are eventually going to continue bleeding. So just be aware of that. Understand that there are two possibilities. You can lean one way or another, but don't, close the door to that other scenario. Because if you do and the market turns on you, you won't be able to adapt quick enough to save some of your portfolio. So with that said, those are some of the ones I wanted to highlight here. Obviously, nobody knows where the markets are going. We can only look at the data that we have, the market that we have right in front of us. But I also wanted to just highlight a few things because if you look at some of these top crypto channels, and by no means is my channel a top crypto channel, we have a whole lot less viewership and subscribers than any of the channels we just mentioned. So obviously all of those channels are doing absolutely absolutely great things, educating people in crypto, entertaining you guys, and that is wonderful to see. I love to see success in the creator space. But I wanted to also highlight some things because we do have, a very clear sentiment switch in crypto right now. If we just take a look at the example for, Alex Becker's channel, he hasn't actually posted a video in about a month. And if we go back to that November 2024 hype or December 2024 hype, just go see how many views Alex Becker's channel was getting. We were looking at the 600,000, 500,000 views, 400,000 views, 6, 5, 4, 700,000 views. And these times were when altcoins were doing very, very well. Now, if you go back to, just the last month, obviously he's still getting an absurd amount of views, don't get me wrong, but it's basically half of the views that he was getting back in that time when altcoins were doing something. So you can clearly see a bit of a sentiment switch and a bit of, not as much interest as before. You can see the same thing with Elio Trades. Again, not saying that this isn't a good channel. Absolutely go subscribe to him to show some support. I'm going to do that myself. I don't even know why I'm not subscribed, but there you go. Another subscription for him. But if you look at the current viewership, we're looking at, 30, 40, 100,000, 50, 40. So still a whole lot of views, a whole lot more than this video is going to get. But if we go back to, let's say, a year ago, again, you have that similar thing. We have 200,000, 200,000, 150, 100, 200. And all of these views are happening during, crypto interest and are happening when altcoins are doing well. You can do the same thing with other channels. I'm not going to bore you with that, but just to show you that there is a whole lot less interest in crypto because of the price, because of the fear, because of the uncertainty and doubt, but the majority of crypto influencers are remaining bullish. So I'm going to leave it up to that, whether or not you guys believe in the bullishness or believe in the bearishness or have invalidation targets. I do think that is likely the best scenario because nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody can predict with certainty what's going to happen. All we can do is react. And if you let emotions get the best of you, you're likely not going to make the right decision. So take 5 minutes, write down some invalidation criterias, look at your portfolio, look at your financial situation. If you're all in crypto, you may be too overexposed. That is only a question that you can ask. So I'm going to remain bullish until otherwise. It's obviously not looking great right now in the markets, but I'm still waiting to see that 50-week moving average, 2 candle closes below that, as well as what's going to happen with the Fed rate cuts in December and what's going to happen when quantitative tightening ends also in December. So if you guys found value in this video, make sure you do me a favor, smash the like button. And if you are new here, make sure you subscribe. We are going to be with you guys through and through with this market. So if you want to stay up to date, that's the best way to do so. And if you want to go the step further, we do have a private community. That's the first link in the description below. In there, you're going to be able to see what I buy, what I sell, and the market research that we do. So have a look at that. But with that said, I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace.